Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Demchak, as some of you know and some of you may not. Sadly, devastatingly, as you can see, I'm not here. My grandmother unfortunately passed away on Saturday, so the funeral's today. So again, I couldn't be here despite, again, my real desire to. But this video hopefully will suffice. You still get to see my face, hear my lovely voice, and overall, we're going to cover the same stuff. So, first and foremost, welcome back to Jockey Hollow! We have the next 45 days together, and a good way to start your year. So again, congratulations for making it here on Q1. As I'm sure you'll notice, again, the classroom is in spectacular, sparkling condition. And yeah, you guys get the best of the best. So, this video will be for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. You're all going to be watching it because, again, it's pretty much all the same general information. If you're in 6th grade right now, you're probably looking around and you're overstimulated and overwhelmed and you're scared. But, again, 6th grade, welcome here. You're going to have an amazing time. 7th and 8th grade, again, you've seen me before. You know the gig. Yeah, I'm excited to see you all. Really, I really am. So I can't wait to see you all on Friday. I will be here prim and proper and on time. So, we've got our agenda here. Today's a shortened day because, again, you know, longer homerooms and stuff like that. So everyone will get to probably a different part in this video, and wherever you get to is wherever you get to. Just let me know where, and of course, I'll catch up when I see you all on Friday. So, again, for 6th grade, my name is, once again, Mr. Demchak. You can absolutely call me Mr. D. Mr. Demchak, of course. 8th graders, by the time you're in 8th grade, a lot of people call me Demchak, and that's totally fine as long as, of course, again, there's respect, love, and camaraderie. So it's, again, just be happy, and you can call me Demchak. Anyways, so who am I? Who are you? Safety contracts, classroom procedures. These are some things we're going to get over today. Again, depending on how far you go is how far you go. So the first thing, who am I? 7th and 8th grade, I'm sure you all know me like the back of your hand and you just can't wait to see me. 6th grade, you probably never heard of me before, but maybe you have. My name is, again, Mr. Demchak. A little bit about myself, just again, I don't want to, well, I'm sure the 7th and 8th grade just keep wanting to hear more and more about my life and history, and they're waiting for my biography to come out. But in summary, real quick, I grew up in Milford, Connecticut. Always had a lake house over there on Lake Zor. Now my aunt and uncle live there. I now live in New Haven, actually right next to Mr. Curry, which is always a great time. He and I are very close, and you'll probably see him coming in and out just to hang out when he has nothing to do. So, other than that, again, hobbies, yeah, I'm a big outdoorsman, as I'm sure a lot of people know. This summer, I actually sailed my sailboat, Cinnamon, up the coast of Maine, so it was really cool. It was like 11 days up. And then we stayed in Acadia for like maybe about 5 days rock climbing and hanging out. Then I picked up Mr. Curry and we sailed back. That probably took about 15 days because the winds weren't quite right. But yeah, we had a great summer and it was a blast. I also went on a little van road trip and did like a lot of climbing and went to Canada and like it was cool. So yeah, anyways, I'm very excited to be here. Actually, this is my 5th year teaching tech ed right now, which is always, again, I don't know, for me, always kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyways. Other than that, yeah, love what I do. Life is great. I can't wait to start with you all. I can't wait to actually start making stuff and doing projects. So, to start, I'd like to know a little bit about you now. Now, this is where we're going to take a little bit of a shift. First and foremost, whoever is our substitute, let's give them a round of applause for being the most amazing sub, covering for me on the first day of school. Thank you, whoever you are. Now, I'm going to have the sub take attendance right now, just to see again who's here, who's not here, just to make sure, again, we're all in the right place. You know, just basic first day kind of stuff. So we can pause this video now, and we can take attendance. Great. See you in a sec. Freeze frame. Okay, so hopefully attendance went okay, and again, everyone's here, or again, here if they belong to be here. Sixth graders, we're going to take a little shift here. I would like every sixth grader to take one of these safety contracts. Now, I know it might be in one of these colors I ran out. But anyways, you're going to take one of these safety contracts, right? And right now, what I want every sixth grader to do, once you've gotten these, is you're going to turn it over on the blank side in the back. And I would like you to take about maybe 5 minutes to write who you are, right? Your hobbies, things you like, unique things you've done this summer, your favorite color, things you hate, etc., etc. Because the purpose is, I know all the 7th graders, I know all the 8th graders, but you 6th graders, you're like, I don't know, completely unknown to me, right? You're mystical unicorns that I'm trying to learn, right? And it's hard for me, because I'm a social person, if there's a girl just named Sarah, there's a lot of Sarahs. I'm going to confuse you all, right? But if Sarah, let's say she's over there, and that'd be amazing if there's a Sarah right there. She's like, oh. Sarah, she's like, hi, my name's Sarah. I love the color blue, and I love to collect like bottle caps, and inside the bottle caps I like to put little pieces of Parmesan cheese, and then I eat them with the cap like a little cup. I'm going to be like, wow, Sarah, you're a really big weirdo, but that's okay. I am too. I think you're amazing, and again, I'm going to get to know Sarah a little bit more in my mind, right? So, take 5 minutes to do that, 6th graders, and again, just go do this, right? 7th grade, 8th grade, right? Assuming, again, I guess this is interactive. 6th grader, you can like stop the video, and then they'll all do it, and then yeah, and then we'll wait. Anyway, 7th and 8th grade, what I'd like you to do is also, you're all going to get one of these, and we're going to go through the safety contract now, right? Now, 6th graders, you'll also notice, again, we'll be going through the safety contract. Yours is going to be a little different. I'm going to cover all 11 points on here, but as a 6th grader, you're not going to be using the wood shop. 6th grade, you're mainly going to be in the computer lab. We're going to be doing robotics, video game design, that kind of stuff. However, again, no woodworking. So some of these rules really don't apply. 7th and 8th grade, all of these rules are applied, and they're, again, I take them very seriously. They're mandatory. This is a big part of our first couple days. So, normally I have kids read this, and we go back and forth and laugh and oh. However, again, given the format, I don't think that'll work out. Like some kind of Dora the Explorer thing. Anyway, so safety contract. Let's see if I still remember this. Ready? So everyone's got one, right? If not, pause the video, do what you gotta do. Everyone's gotta get one of these. And again, we're all gonna be reading this kind of together. So just skim it as I read it. So, here's my memory. Ready? Dear parent/guardian, safety is my highest priority in my technology education classroom. Please stress to your child the importance of following instruction and behaving in an appropriate manner. The instructions below have been covered thoroughly in class. However, I also ask that you review them at home with your child. Adherence to these rules is mandatory. I think that's it. Again, it's been a couple months of living on a sailboat. Yeah. Anyway, so again, the big thing is we're going through these rules. I want you to go home. Your parents are going to sign off on this. This is a contract, right? Tech Ed is kind of a unique classroom because we have so many dangerous tools. And as a 7th grader, right, I'm sure a lot of you are nervous. 8th graders, you know, I know you think you're very comfortable and woo-doo-doo-doo. But I am a very loose, as I'm sure you know, casual person. But when it comes to these rules, you have to follow them. It's not a conversation. It's not a joke. It's a very serious thing. Because if you were to get hurt, right, it's usually because you weren't following these rules, right? And these rules are in place not only because I love rules, but it's to keep you safe right, is to keep me safe. I don't want to get fired, right? Is to keep the program safe. Because again, if you were to get really hurt and your parents were to sue, again, this program will probably get shut down, and that would be tragic, right? So it's again, we're thinking of the safety and health and well-being of everybody here, okay? So if you don't follow these rules, right, not only do you risk your health, you risk my future and the program's future. So please, I'm very serious about this. So, the first rule, no horseplay, and in particular, no running or throwing things, right? This one I can't stress to you enough. This room is very big, right? You can get a lot of momentum. But as I'm sure you look around, there's a lot of metal things that you can crash into if you were to fall, right? You're also more likely to fall because you know what? If you look at these very well-waxed floors, someone puts a little sawdust on there, someone spills a little clear coat, and you can slip, right? You can fall down really easy and get really hurt in this class. So no running is obviously common sense. Now, I know, of course, 8th graders are like, Mr. Demchak, you run all the time. I know I do, because I'm a busy professional. And again, if I get hurt, I'm going to like yell profanities at myself for being an idiot, right? I'm not going to, again, sue myself. I'm not going to, again, complain and get myself in trouble. It's, again, I'm an adult. Also, no throwing things. Obviously, right? If you are standing 1 foot away from the garbage can and you go, haha, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to bring down the hammer of Thor. Obviously, if you're throwing a piece of scrap wood, you know, from like, I don't know, 20 feet away, yes, I'm going to yell at you. I might even smack you on the backside of the head a bit for being a knucklehead, all right? But again, common sense, please. Oh, speaking of common sense, rule number 2. Think and be alert. Follow all instructions and always be careful. If common sense is used, accidents will be avoided. And this one, I'll tell you, I just find absolutely mind-blowingly fascinating, right? Common sense is one of those things that I would like, I'm sure there's books already out there, but as a middle school teacher, it's just so funny to see because your common sense is really still in its infancy. It's still growing, right? I still have moments where I'm like, wow, that was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking, right? It still happens, right? Common sense is something you accrue over time, right? It's something that you learn from your experiences, the experiences of others, if you're really smart, right? Or again, it's just your body kind of just comes up or your mind is just like, oh, you know what? I think this will happen. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth the risk. Those kinds of things, right? And it's anything. There's so many dumb things you could do in this class, right? There's so many ways to get hurt. There's so many ways to, again, destroy and break things. Ultimately, again, we've got to rest on the sense of common sense, right? And again, it's, you know, I tell different classes different stories, and I always get confused, but well, not to say my favorite, right? Because that's, you know, a terrible thing to have a favorite of. But the story I tell is sitting at this corner table over here in the wood shop, right? I know you're in the computer lab, but on this front table, woodworking, 8th graders are doing their egg cars. There's a group of like, 1, 2, 3, there are like 7 girls sitting there, right? And they're all the lovely girls. They're all like, chatting about Justin Bieber and whatever, how they do their hair and stuff. And they're working, right? And one girl, sitting there in the corner, she had a hot glue gun, right? And admittedly, she had nothing to do for work for, you know, a period of time because everyone was cutting and she was waiting for those cuts. So she's sitting there and she's like, hot glue gun. I wonder how hot. So she decides like, well, I'm going to test. So she gets a hot glue gun and she goes, "Argh!" And she just squeezes and squeezes, right? It makes this big puddle right on the table of hot glue, right? And of course, how else are you going to test if hot glue is hot? She puts her entire fingerprint, like her entire pointer finger, just whoop, right in to the giant puddle of hot glue, right? And within maybe about 30 seconds, no, 30 seconds is a terrible guess. Maybe about a third of a second. Sorry, I'm distracted. Maybe about a third of a second, she's like, ah, right? And just like howls like a wolf at the moon, and I'm on the other side of the room, and I come running. I'm like, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? And she's like covering her finger like this, right? And I'm like, let me see, let me see, let me see. And she shows me, and it's like this red, I don't know, like the inside of a red jelly bean or something, just like not quite skin thing, right? And I'm like, ah! Like I immediately like, ah! And I like go to the nurse. She runs down there. Of course, she has to go to the hospital. She has third-degree burns. Her freaking, because it's of course hot and it's glue, literally again her fingerprint got fused to the table, and when she went to remove it because of the heat, the glue got her fingerprint, and it was right? And again, it's one of those things. Common sense. It's called a hot glue gun. Of course it's hot. Of course it's glue. Why would you touch it? But again, people have that curiosity, right? And again, I'm not saying that, of course everyone's curious, but just like, wow, And again, she was like that for a couple weeks. She had big bandages. It was just like, Even more amazing about that story, right? Is I told you in detail, right? About the people sitting next to her. They were like, right, 8, 7 girls, and they're all there. And you know what? When I asked what happened, they all knew what happened. So they all freaking watched their friend put the hot glue and put their finger on it. And they didn't say anything. They were just like, oh man, she's actually going to do it, right? So it's one of these things like, it's terrifying. Because again, for me, I know I can't, I don't have a rule that says no putting your finger into a puddle of hot glue, right? Because again, it's common sense. But such is my job, right? So all I ask is really, really, really take that moment when you're like, what I call good idea, bad idea. Take that moment and ask yourself, good idea, bad idea. Breathe, think, right? If you're really not sure, ask me, right? A lot of times I'm like, this is a bad idea, but I'm curious too. Maybe we should wear some safety glasses so we don't get scalded in the eyes, right? Again, please feel free. Always talk to me. Or again, if you're curious, maybe ask your friends, and your friends will be like, that's a really dumb idea. And again, you won't do it. So please, again, common sense. Sorry that I was long-winded, but I always just find it absolutely amazing. Rule number 3, wear safety glasses when appropriate, right? So again, this is 6th graders. We're not wearing safety glasses because if you can jam a Lego in your eye, I'm not angry, I'm impressed, right? This is much more with the 7th and 8th grade, as again, we're working with power tools, sawdust, like all kinds of stuff. Eye injuries are a real thing for 7th and 8th grade, so we've got to be really, really careful. I'm going to talk more about safety, personal protection equipment, or as fancy people call it, PPE. We'll talk about safety glasses when I get back. I have safety glasses, I have safety goggles. Some people wear glasses. Again, there's a little conversation to be had a little down the road. The biggest thing is, again, you have to wear something when, again, we're using those power tools. Number 4, long hair must be tied back, sleeves rolled up, ties, rings, jewelry, etc. must be removed before using any machines. Any style of clothing which poses a safety hazard will be referred to the office. So a couple things in there. The first thing, women with long hair. I know you just spent 2 hours combing it, putting flowers and lilies into it and conditioning it with, I don't know, flowers from India, whatever the case is. Again, the biggest thing with long hair is that when you're working on, let's say, a drill press, you've got this tool spinning, 2,000 rotations per minute, really fast, right? And you're kind of looking over to see the hole you're drilling. and heaven forbid something were to happen and your hair were to get caught, right? That's a potential serious injury, and again, something that's super easy to avoid. So again, women, long hair, please tie it back, do whatever kind of ponytail, French knot bun thing you girls do, scrunchies, hair tie, those clippy things, I don't know, whatever you do, please make sure it's restrained. I, again, sadly don't have a lot of fashion accessories here. I got rubber bands, whatever it is. Ask a friend, please be careful. Sleeves rolled up, that's the same thing, right? Sleeves, hoodie strings, anything that can get caught into the machine, you've got to be careful, right? So again, ties, ring, jewelry, etc. must be removed before using machine. I, of course, always make sure my beard is properly trimmed. Any style of clothing, which is a safety hazard. So what I mean by this is, again, it's going to be warm. We're the first quarter. If you're wearing flip-flops every day and you're in 7th and 8th grade, it's, again, probably a better time before you drop something on your toe, right? If you are wearing, really thin, showy clothing, again, like I would hate for, again, an injury to occur because, again, you're wearing really skimpy clothing. So, again, it's kind of a common sense thing. I'm not saying you have to wear a Carhartt suit, but again, common sense, once again, here applies. Great. This is also, again, talking about rule number 4 and talking about common sense and the principles of everyone watching out for each other. Long hair is one of those things where, again, if you're a girl, you got long hair every day, right? And if we're working, sometimes you just forget, right? And what I really, really hope, right, is that everyone can look out for each other. I'm only one set of eyes, right? And I'll do my best to be as vigilant as possible, but realistically, I can't keep my eyes on everybody all the time. So just like that common sense, we watch out for each other. With, again, if someone's about to go to a drill press, right, and they've got their long hair, you're doing them such a favor by just tapping them on the shoulder, right, just saying like, hey, excuse me, again, do you need a hair tie, right? That's huge. You could save somebody's life, heaven forbid. So again, please, please, please be careful. Number 5, machines and equipment will not be used without teacher's permission. So 7th grade, again, even if, your dad is Santa Claus and you've been making small wooden toys for children all over the world since you were 2 years old. That's great, that's amazing, I'm impressed, curious, a lot of questions to ask. Mainly how he flies around so fast and sits in the gym. Anyway, again, whatever the case is, your mom's an expert woodworker, whatever it is, unless I teach you, right? You cannot, right, legally use any of the tools in here, right? Because I'm certified to do this, right? The sub can't teach you. This is it. I'm the only person that will teach you how each and every machine is to be used, right? And it's to be used safely. So again, part of my job that I take very seriously. Some tools you'll never use, right? Because again, they're just too dangerous and I'll use them, right? So again, we'll go machine by machine. 7th grade we'll go really slow. 8th grade there'll be a couple new tools unlocked to you, especially for your independent projects that you'll be able to use. Like the miter saw, lathe and stuff. But again, I'm going to show you each and every tool that you, again, are needing to use. I will show you how to use that tool. Number 6, a tidy shop is a safe shop. Keep the floor around workbenches and machines clean and clear of scraps at all times. Clean up spills, pick up trash, wipe work tables and work areas, etc. This one, oh, Lord of mercy. Golly gee willikers, it's really, really important to me, right? Again, everybody works hard here at Jockey Hollow. All the teachers do amazing things, right? My job is very stressful at times because I have to help so many students. I have to be so vigilant to make sure kids aren't going to cut their arms off, right? I really, really am like hyper aware and like constantly like, right? So what I can't do is I can't constantly be like, go, 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 go. And then I have, 2 minutes before the next class comes and I have to make sure the materials and supplies are ready for them. I cannot be cleaning up after everybody. It's just physically impossible, right? So one thing is, please, this rule is extremely important to me because again, help out Demchak, right? I just can't do everything, right? I'm not a superhero, right? Second, it's important because again, if you spill that pile of sawdust, you just increase the likelihood that someone's going to slip and fall and get hurt, right? And of course you don't mean it, but you probably maybe forgot, maybe it was Timmy's mess, and you're like, well, I'm not cleaning up Timmy's mess. Again, it needs to be cleaned up, right? Regardless of who did it, by the end of the period, I don't want anyone leaving to this room is spotless, right? And again, this is like that conversation that, again, I would do anything for you, and I hope you would do the same for me. So please, help me out. I'm not a big discipline guy. If the class is constantly a mess, right? Or if certain individuals are constantly waiting by the door because they're like, oh, I didn't make any mess. Oh, I cleaned up my mess. But the classroom's still messy. If I see people like that, or whole classes like that, I will start assigning more time for cleanups. Those people waiting by the doors, I will give them fixed jobs. Like you'll always be, let's say, sweeping underneath the tables or cleaning up the paint room, right? So don't be those people, okay? Always be busy, always be working, right? Help me out. Lastly, with that, oh my God. So again, here's another thing. Here's another rant, and I'm ranting today. If you, let's say, spill something, right? Let's say paint, glue, stain, right? These things, if you spill them, it sucks. And it sucks, and of course you didn't mean to, accidents happen, it's okay. However, if you don't clean them up before the glue dries, before the paint dries, before the stain sits in, you've just made it such a bigger cleaning job by like 20, right? Because when that glue dries, right, I have to freaking chisel it off, right? That paint, I've got to use these really heavy, bad for the environment, bad for my brain cells, like strippers and removers, right? If you spill it and you're like, oh, Demchak, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't care, you know? Because again, I'll be like, oh, that sucks. We'll go get some paper towels and water, or maybe a towel, we'll call the janitor. It's not a big deal. But if you're like, oh man, I'm so scared Demchak's gonna yell at me, and you don't tell me, I will find you, and I will yell at you. Very, 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 very much. Okay, 7, and again, I don't know how far we're going to get with this video with the time and the schedule, so I'm just going to do it all now and again see how far we get. 7, breaking wood is not acceptable. Wood is to be cut, not broken, right? The big thing with this, right, is again, you will see scrap wood, right? You will see wood in the garbage, right? You will see wood on the table. You're going to see wood, right? We deal a lot with it, right? And with that, please, 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 I know it's tempting, especially the boys. There's just something about like a thin piece of wood, even like, again, like a ruler. Who isn't curious to see how flexible this ruler is? Like you just want to keep bending it and bending it and bending it and bending it till it breaks, right? However, we don't do it for a host of reasons. One, it's a waste of wood, right? I know you're just you're so angry at the iPhone 7 not having like a headphone jack, and you're just like, oh, right? I know, it sucks. But again, I don't want to waste wood, right? What you could be breaking, what you think is trivial, could be an important piece of wood, could be wood we're using in the future, could be expensive, right? So again, things like, right, this ruler, like, I don't want you breaking it, it costs like $1. There's no need for it, right? Pencils, stuff like that, like, if you're gonna break a pencil, man, like, I'd much rather have it. You could donate it, right? An unbroken pencil, right? If you're really, like, really upset one day, again, there's productive jobs that you can get your aggression out and actually help out tech ed, right? So again, please see me, don't just be an angry little kid. Right? Also, safety-wise, again, splinters, right? Sharp pieces of wood, stabbing the kids with the sharp pieces of wood that you've created because you've broken the wood. It's one of those things, it's just, don't break it. Also, if you can't break it, it's really embarrassing because you'll hurt yourself. If you try to karate chop, you break your hand, and I just laugh at you. Online and technological safety / well-being is dealt with a manner equal to physical safety. Right? So what I mean by this is that, again, the big thing with it is we all can imagine physical safety, right? In tech ed, it's easy. Think of like, oh, golly, I'm not going to touch this sharp blade moving really fast because it'll probably hurt me. That's physical safety. Super simple, super makes sense. Online safety, right? What I'm talking about, online and technological safety. What I mean by this is, again, the online environment, right? That safety, right, is again, it's your personal information, right? We're going to be using the internet to create things, videos, yada, yada, yada. Don't create like a website. It says like, hi, my name's Susie. Here's a picture of me at the beach, and my social security number, and my address. And, you know, like, it's again, like, you know, you're not putting that stuff on the internet, right? You're also, of course, you are absolutely not being inappropriate with technology, right? You're not bullying people, right? You're not using your cell phone to take a video of Demchak napping in the corner, right? Of course, I would never do that. But again, it's kind of common sense stuff, but again, it's very important, right? Number 9, the creation of any inappropriate item, i.e. a weapon, will not be tolerated and will be referred to the office. Listen, I've been doing my job a long time. If I see someone walking over to the sander and start spinning like a piece of wood to a sharpened spike, obviously we're going to have a conversation. I can't have you walking out of here with a spear, right? It's, again, a weapon's a weapon. And you could say, oh no, this Demchak, no, come on. I'm making a marshmallow skewer. Yeah, I'm making a marshmallow skewer. Yeah. That's great. I'm going to throw it away, right? Again, we're going to have a talk. Because, again, it's got to be appropriate. And, again, appropriate can be a lot of different things. If you don't know if it's appropriate, pass by me. You know, we'll talk. 10. Nothing from tech ed room shall leave the room without my permission, particularly tools, materials, and supplies. This rule, essentially, don't rob me, right? A lot of things cost a lot of money. You can't take your Lego robot home to go to the beach because, you know what? They cost like $300 each, right? You can't take, like, a circular saw because, you know, you've got to, like, I don't know, make your sandwiches in the morning and you need a saw. You will be tackled before you get past the main office, I would say, yeah. Because, again, you can't just take things. Obviously, projects, stuff like that is kind of a tough call. So when we're working on projects, right, 7th and 8th grade, right, we're doing these big, you know, woodworking things, whatever. The biggest thing is that this program is unique, right? It costs the school the most amount of money, right? And again, it's not cheap. All the tools, all the materials, the supplies, this room even, right, is huge, right? And again, your parents pay for that, right? Through their taxes, through their support, right? So this program is always kind of like on the fence because, again, it doesn't really, again, fit with the core academics of math, science, reading, right? It's kind of like an extra, it's a great, obviously important class, but again, it's something that's not super vital to traditional education, right? So when we're working on projects, it's really important that they're the best we can make it, right? I don't want you going home and showing your parents like a block of wood with a nail sticking out of it. It's like bent and rusty and be like, yeah, this is what we've been doing in tech ed, it took me 2 weeks. Because that reflects poorly on the program, right? Because like, what am I teaching you, right? Second, right, I want you to have that pride, right? That when you go home, show your parents, you put it in your room, that again, you're really happy, you're really proud, things you can have. Like I have things, I don't know, if you go into the wood shop, I have like a little wind chime, it's like a flamingo. But I cut that out on a scroll saw, and I made that when I was in 7th grade. And I'm still pretty proud of it, right? Again, I made that like 25 years ago, and I still have it, right? So it's again, I still want to bestow that, again, if you're working on a project, we want to make sure it's as good as possible. And again, I'm never going to say like, your project sucks, but I'll say like, hey, golly, maybe you want to sand it a little bit, it looks a little stabby, right? Maybe you need just some more time to paint, right? Maybe you need some more guidance on how to do something, right? Please, ask me. your first quarter, you've got a lot of time, right? I've had kids not finish a project and it goes on for like 100 days. Obviously that's my nightmare, but again, I want you to finish your projects. I want them to be great. I want, again, your parents to be proud of it, you to be proud of it, the community to be proud of what we do. So again, I do take a lot of pride in everything we do. Yes, great. Going on here, number 11. Inform Mr. Demchak immediately of any injury, no matter how small. Please, this one, again, I've got a million stories to tell. The biggest thing is, again, if you get hurt, please, please, please tell me. I'm not going to yell at you because you got hurt, right? My first and foremost biggest concern is that you're getting taken care of, right? If you're hurting, I don't want you to feel that. I don't want you to be in pain, right? If you're bleeding all over tech ed, again, I don't want to solve this Scooby-Doo crime on who's, again, got hurt. Please, just say, like, again, tell me, like, if something got hurt, even if it's something really simple, right? Again, I don't want you to feel pain and suffering and stuff like that, but also, I want you to learn from your mistakes, right? If you're doing something dumb, there's a tool over here called the spindle sander, right? If you're using it incorrectly, it's easy to lose control of the workpiece and get hit by that sanding paper, right? And get a good cut or abrasion, right? If you don't know what you did wrong, there's a chance you're going to go back to that tool, use it the same way, and possibly get hurt in the same way you got hurt, right? So again, if you make that mistake, you're like, I got hurt on that sander. I'm going to say, like, oh, what happened? You're like, I don't know, I was holding it like this and it spun out of my hands. And then I'll say, oh, well, you're holding it incorrectly. You've got to have it on the table, right, on that metal work surface, then you'll have a lot more control, right? So again, we'll learn from our mistakes. So all these things are really important. Again, I can't stress to you how seriously and important I take the safety contract. Now, again, when you are done, right, we all covered this now. You are going to sign it, of course. You're in agreement. You're going to date it. Then you've got to give it to your parent or guardian, right? Who's ever